Hello friends, welcome to the MOOCs on Entrepreneurship Development. We are into the module number 6, which is on different legislations and the acts. This specific video is a part 5th of this module, and it is on the Industrial Disputes Act 1947. The contents of this presentation, there are brief objectives of this act, then the authorities under this act and the provisions of this act. Well, the objectives of this act, let me narrate them one by one. The act provides a machinery for the settlement of disputes by arbitration or by adjudication. It attempts to ensure social justice and economic progress by fostering the industrial harmony. It enables the workers to achieve their demands by means of legitimate weapons of strike and thus facilitates collective bargaining. It prohibits illegal strikes and lockouts. It provides relief to the workmen in the event of the layoff or the retrenchment. Now, regarding the authorities under this act, section 3 to 9 of the act deals with the authorities under the act. So, there are many authorities, let us take them one by one. The first is the Works Committee. The appropriate government may initiate a works committee in the case of any industrial establishment in which 100 or more workmen are employed. Such works committee consists of representatives of employers and the workmen employed in the establishment. Second is conciliation officer. The act provides for conciliation as a method of settlement of disputes. The appropriate government by gazetted notification appoints a conciliation officer. The duties of the conciliation officer include: number 1, to mediate in the settlement of industrial disputes, and secondly, to promote the settlement of the disputes. The conciliation officer has to mediate on a particular case within the 14 days and send a report to the government giving details of the steps taken to settle the dispute, listing the reasons for success or failure in reaching an agreement. Settlements in the course of conciliation proceedings are binding on all the parties to the dispute. A third authority is the Board of Conciliation. The appropriate government may, as the occasion arises, by gazetted notification constitute a board of conciliation for promoting the settlement of industrial disputes. Such board consists of a chairman and 2 or 4 other members. The board's main duty is to promote the settlement of the industrial disputes. The next authority is the courts of inquiry. The appropriate government may, as the occasion arises, by a gazette notification constitute a court of inquiry for inquiring into the industrial disputes. A court of inquiry may consist of 1 or more independent person or persons. Court of inquiry is expected to inquire into the matters referred to it and report there to the appropriate government, ordinarily within a period of 6 months from the commencement of the inquiry. The next authority is the Labour Court. The appropriate government may constitute by notification 1 or more labour courts consisting of 1 person only. Person should be or must have been a judge of a high court, or he should have been a district judge for not less than 3 years. Next is the Industrial Tribunal. An appropriate government may, by notification in the official gazette, constitute 1 or more industrial tribunals for the adjudication of industrial disputes. The tribunal consists of 1 person only appointed by the government. The industrial tribunal have wider jurisdiction than the labour courts. And the next is the National Tribunal. The national tribunals are constituted by the appropriate government for adjudication of industrial disputes, which in the opinion of the central government A involve questions of national importance or B are of such nature that industrial establishments situated in more than one state are likely to be interested in or affected by such disputes. A national tribunal consists of one person only to be appointed by the central government. Now, let us talk of the different provisions of the Act. The Act also defines the various areas like the strikes and the lockouts, prohibition of strikes and lockouts in public utility services, then the layoffs and retrenchments, the protection to the workmen during tendency of the proceedings, and miscellaneous topics such as grievance settlement authority, disclosing confidential information, etc. So, I think this is all about this specific act. For more details, please refer to the online reading material. Thank you.